So Trung, welcome to Global Tax Talk. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
Good. So let's talk a little about the OECD. So at the end of 2023, after months of deliberation and uncertainty, Vietnam's National Assembly passed top-up tax legislation in response to Pillar 2, to the global minimum tax. So foreign enterprises will now be paying a minimum tax rate of 15% in Vietnam, which does seem to counteract many of the tax incentives which have been a key driver of foreign investment in Vietnam, foreign direct investment in Vietnam over many years now. So what has the government's response been to try to maintain Vietnam's attractiveness, and how are companies, again, addressing that?
Well, I think the OECD Global Minimum Tax Initiative is certainly a significant change for Vietnam. The country had been offering many tax incentives to attract foreign investors for location or for sector, especially manufacturing, high-tech, education, renewable energy for many years. Right? The incentive had helped Vietnam to become one of the attractive spots in the region to attract foreign investment. Even though tax incentive is only one of many factors for investment consideration. So in relation to tax incentive, the government had really a draft decree on establishment of investment support fund. The aim of the fund is to grant cash support, mainly in percentage of the expense incurred to the taxpayer in certain industry, such as large-scale projects in high-tech related business or R&D activity. Apart from this, the government also indicated that they will provide more support for other areas such as digital developments, human capital developments, and also environmental protection. So you see, this can be seen as an effort to maintain an attractive investment environment while also ensure a fair and transparent tax system. So PwC, that means our team had been talking to many investors in Vietnam about nature and the impact of the change. So let's see how the foreign investor they would adjust their strategy and operation to address the change.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Trung. So let's move on from there. Vietnam intended to make a number of regulatory tax changes over the past year, specifically for corporate income tax, for VAT, for SST, together with draft regulations on invoicing. Overall, it seems that the new guidance is focused on transparency and broadening tax bases. Can you please give us just a few highlights and again tell us how the business community is responding to that?
Yeah, you are right that the Vietnamese government they have the master plan to make change to tax system until 2033. So they have released a draft regulations, a draft decree in the past year, aiming to improve tax administrations, enhance transparency and compliance of the taxpayer, and also broaden the tax base. So new law intended to be passed this year or sometime in next few years. But for today, I would like to share some key changes on few type of tax. So let's say for corporate income tax, again, the government plan to conduct a review and update on tax incentive regulation, with specific emphasis on the sector and location that will be for investment encouraged, such as, again, this is a high value industry, industry and support industry, and high-tech sector. In addition, the government also aimed to broaden the definition of taxable entity in order to clearly establishing taxing price and broaden the tax base to capture the cross-border e-commerce and digital business. Another important change is the draft regulation. The government wants to take into account the compliance with the other regulation when determining the tax deductibility of expense. So let's say if an expense that does not comply with the other relation, so it would no longer be eligible for deduction. So this change may create more administrative burden for taxpayer in Vietnam and potentially where business expense are non-deductible. For the other important type, tax value-added tax, as you may be aware, exported goods and services are, in principle, are entitled to 0% VAT. However, the definition of its definition is not so clear enough, so the implication in practice is questionable. Third, there is a proposal to have a more clear definition in the tax law to come. Further, the Vietnamese tax authority will also determine or provide more clear procedure and condition for applying 0% VAT to such supply. The other change is that the government will lower the threshold for payment to be made in cash. That means not through the credit card, not through bank transfer, down to the 200 US dollar roughly. Currently it's about 800. So it's quite low. That is an effort to damp down on fraud and promoting theft and reducing tax risk. For special sales tax, there are proposals to make certain change to tax rate, tax scope, and taxable entity for certain items. That would be more detail to be provided. For invoicing, the government intends to revise certain regulation or rule to simplify. That's very good. Simplify the admin procedure and provide clarity to taxpayer. For example, there will be more guidance on handling incorrect invoice, the time for issue invoice, and also the time for tax declaration. This is aimed to tighten the control over and enforcement of company tax compliance. So if you ask me what is the response from practice, I can say that the response to this proposal had been generally very positive. At the business, they very appreciate the efforts of the government to modernize and to simplify the tax system and to create more clear and competitive environment for doing business in Vietnam. Having said that, there remain some concern in terms of clarity and consistency in certain tax regulation and guidance. So the taxpayer, when they are operating in Vietnam, they should throughout to assess the implication of the changes for their operation.
Good. So Trung, thank you very much for joining me on Global Tax Talk. It's been great to have you with us, and I hope that we can get you back again very soon. And thank you for joining us. Tune in again soon so that you stay Global Tax Ready.